Good morning. Welcome again to Morning Devotions, and Merry Christmas a day in advance. I want us to go back to part of the Christmas story again today. Matthew chapter 2, beginning with verse 1. After Jesus was born in Bethlehem in Judea during the time of King Herod, Magi from the east came to Jerusalem and asked, "Where is the one who has been born King of the Jews? We saw his star in the east and have come to worship him." When King Herod heard this, he was disturbed, and all Jerusalem with him. When he had called together all the people's chief priests and teachers of the law, he asked them where the Christ was to be born. Annas, who was alive and questioned Jesus at the end, would have been part of this group. That's an interesting thought. "In Bethlehem in Judea," they replied, "for this is what the prophet has written. But you, Bethlehem, in the land of Judah, are by no means least among the rulers of Judah. For out of you will come a ruler who will be the shepherd of my people Israel." Then Herod called the Magi secretly and found out from them the exact time the star had appeared. He sent them to Bethlehem and said, "Go and make careful search for the child. As soon as you find him, report to me so that I too may go and worship him." That was a big lie. After they heard the king, they went on their way, and the star they had seen in the east went ahead of them until it stopped over the place where the child was. When they saw the star, they were overjoyed. On coming to the house, they saw the child with his mother, Mary, and they bowed down and worshipped him. Then they opened their treasures and presented him with gifts of gold and incense and myrrh. And having been warned in a dream not to go back to Herod, they returned to their own country by another route. We've been talking about this passage the last few days, and we've learned some beautiful truths about seeking God, about people who truly seek Christ. We learned that they were seekers because they knew who he was, and we learned that the purpose of their seeking was not to ask anything, but was to worship. But there was a third purpose in their hearts for seeking him, and that was to bring a beautiful, generous offering. It amazes me every Christmas how people gather together and give gifts to each other, and nobody thinks about Jesus, but it's his birthday. Have you ever asked yourself the question, how would you feel if on your birthday everybody in your family gave gifts to everybody else and ignored you? How would you feel? Like, kawawa, diba? Brothers and sisters, on Candlelight Communion, we challenge you to bring a beautiful gift for Jesus, to bring radio across the nation of the Philippines, Christian radio. We're asking you, let's stand together. Let's stand together and finish this great task. I want to ask you, like the wise men, as a seeker of God, rather than come near to ask, come near to worship and come near to give. But they didn't take the little coins off of their belts, the little purses off of their belt. It says they opened their treasures. They went to their caravan and they opened their treasures to God. When was the last time you really opened your treasures to God and gave generously to him? When was the last time you helped endow a voice of God in the world? And that's what these men were doing, endowing a new king, a voice for God in the world. When was the last time you opened your treasures? I challenge you this Candlelight Communion, bring a treasure. Open your treasures and bring a treasure to Jesus.